到底全球顶级学校喜欢什么样的学生？掌声有请 Mr. James Burnett.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming along, and to thank you to Jensen for inviting me. It's a great honour to be able to speak to you and to take part in this event today.
欢迎我们的 James 老师，今天他很高兴能受到Jameson 的邀请来参加这一次论坛，给我们做一次演讲。
I was going to speak to you in Mandarin, but luckily Wei Wei's here to help me out because my Mandarin is non-existent.
他想用中文，我想用中文来说，可惜我的中文不是特别好，所以在这里由我给大家翻译。
As you can see, my name is James Burnett, and I've been working with international students for 25 years. I know I look far too young to have been doing it for that long, but I have.
我的名字叫 James Burnett， 我是从事国际生的这种申请的话，已经有25年。
And my background is teaching. I started my career when I left university teaching in schools in the UK. I was a principal of a big international school in London. But I've also worked very closely with some of the top UK universities. So I've seen university application processes from two different sides, from the sides of the students that I've worked with and from the universities and how they go about choosing students.
我的背景是自从大学毕业以后就一直从事教学，在英国的一些学校里面从事英语教学，然后也是
Principal of a big school, an international school in London.
也是伦敦的一个国际学校的一个校长，然后同时我也和英国的一些顶级学校也有合作，所以今天的讲座是基于两个角度，第一个角度是从我所辅导的学生的一个角度，第二个呢是从我合作的一些大学的一些角度去讲的。
And now I work helping international students with preparation and applications for top universities, and I work alongside my two colleagues who are based in Chiang Mai. There's Ian at the front there.
我现在的工作呢是帮助国际学生去准备和申请一些顶级的学校。我在这里和我的基于清迈的两个同事，一个是 Mr. Ian。
And also my colleague Kim, who lives in Chiang Mai but studied in the UK.
还有一个是 Kim， 他也是在基于清迈，但是教育背景是来自英国。
I want to thank Wei Wei because she's given a very comprehensive guide to all the preparation you need to be doing from grade 9 onwards. So I won't repeat all of that. What I will do is talk more about how universities go about selecting their students, what they're looking for, and what you can do to maximize your chances of getting into top universities.
因为前面微微的讲座呢是已经覆盖了9到12年级的一个整体的一个规划，所以我今天的講座將會以如何申請頂級大學和他們所需要的一些什麼樣的一個學生這個方面去講解。
But before I start talking about that, when Jensen was talking to you right at the beginning, he emphasized the importance of English. And I know from my work with universities, from assessing applications and for interviewing students, that alongside academic achievement, the better the students' English, the better the opportunities they'll have for getting into top universities. So English is very, very important. It's not just exam results or GPAs, which is important. The better the English, the better the chance of getting into the best universities.
刚才花生米饭已经强调了英语的一个重要性。那么从我的经验来说， 学生他的英语学术能力越高，他能够达到顶级大学的机会会越高。这个学术能力并不仅仅是指的是你的英语的你的 GPA， 而是整体的学术英语越高的话，能达到顶级学校的机会就会越大。
And one of the things about the top universities is they're looking for the best students. They're looking for the students who are going to be able to contribute most to the university, are going to respond best to the teaching. And so if you look at, let's say, the top UK universities, if you look at Oxford University or Cambridge University, they don't have a fixed number of places for British students and another quota for international students. They're just looking for the best students. So it means that as an international student, you need to make sure that you're on the same level as the local students.
当我们看到最顶级的英国学校的时候，我们会发现这些顶级的英国学校，他们并没有列出一定数量的我们要多少英国的学生和要多少国际的学生，他们所要寻找的就是顶级的学生。所以，如果你想要申请顶级的这些学校，你就必须要达到和英国这些顶级的学生相匹配的学术能力，与他们竞争。
Now, we talked a lot about, and I've heard the other speakers talk about top universities. But what is a top university?
我们讲顶级大学讲了很多，那么到底什么是顶级大学呢？
Well, I think the thing that characterises the best universities in the world are, first of all, of course, they're looking for the best students, so they have high entry requirements. They're looking for high grades at A level or high scores at international baccalaureate or high GPAs.
当我们看到这些顶级大学的要求的时候，我们会发现它最重要的一个基本的一个要求就是很高的一个入学要求。这个高的入学要求指的就是你的高的学分，你 A level 科目的分数，或者是 IB AP 的这些成绩的高低。
The second thing which characterises the top universities is, of course, there are a lot of students who want to go there. So typically you might have 10, 15 or 20 students applying for every one place at these top universities.
第二个特点呢，就是这些顶级大学它的学位一定是非常紧张的。那么可能一个顶级学校的一个专业，它在要求就是学位可能就只有10几20多个。
The third thing which is important is that the top universities have really good connections. They have connections with industry and research and engineering companies and software companies and pharmaceutical companies. They have links with governments. I mean, something like the London School of Economics will do research for governments on economics and political things. Or they'll have links with art schools, or they'll have links with sporting organisations or NGOs. So it's the links that the university has with the rest of the world, which is very important.
第三个很重要的一个特点呢，就是这些顶级大学一定是有非常紧密的一些联系和政府一些组织。比如说伦敦经济学院，它就是为伦敦的一个政府做一些联合的一些项目，还有一些艺术学校，它可能会有一些组织合作。NGO 是非政府组织，他们有密切的一些联系。
And fourthly, and very, very important, it's the alumni network. It's the network that you will have for the rest of your life with your peers, your current students, the students you're studying alongside, and past students and future students. And that alumni network is going to be so valuable to you for your future plans.
第四个很重要的一个要素呢，就是顶级的大学它一定是有非常优质的校友的网络，而这些网络，校友的网络有可能就是直接影响了我们的一些社会的一些联系。
And for me, as a teacher or as an ex-teacher, this last one is very, very important. That the best universities in the world, the professors, the people who teach you, will be experts in their field. They'll be world leaders in pharmaceuticals or economics or whichever subject they're teaching. So you will end up not being taught by somebody who has just learned how to teach, but somebody who is pushing back the frontiers of knowledge, and you'll be part of that.
第4个，从我教师的角色来说，我认为是最重要的，就是进入到顶级大学，你将会和来自于世界一线的这些行业领导人、顶级的教员、科学家们一起学习，对于这个是非常重要和尊贵的一些资源。
And just as a word of warning about the top universities, because the professors are appointed because of their expertise in a particular field, they might not be very good teachers. If you teach in a school, you get a good job and you become a successful teacher because you can teach very well. At the top universities, the professors are there because they know more about their subject than anybody else in the world. So sometimes they're not good teachers. And that's what you have to adapt to. You have to adapt to the way that they're helping you to work on your own learning.
其中有一个温馨的一个提醒，就是虽然进入到顶级的大学，我们有机会和这些顶级的教授们学习，但是这些教授呢，他们可能在其领导领域非常出名，但是未必是一个非常善于教学的一个老师，所以有可能我们在这一方面并不能得到我们所要的一个需求。
Now, Weiwei in her talk has already talked about some of the best universities in the world. So I've just made a little list here of some of the most famous universities in the world. The UK, there are probably the top 5, Oxford, Cambridge, London School of Economics, UCL, Imperial College, but also what's called the Russell Group universities, which are the top 24 teaching universities or research universities in the UK.
对，在讲到英国的这些顶级大学的过程呢，在哪一些大学是顶级大学？从英国的方面来说，首先我们有G5集团的5大顶级学校，包括牛津、剑桥、伦敦经济学院，还有伦敦大学学院、帝国理工。除了这G5之外，还有一个就下面的那个叫罗素集团。这个罗素集团下面有24间大学，这个都是受到政府的资助，研究实力特别雄厚的。
And I won't go through all of these because you'll be very familiar with the names of these universities. But I wanted to pick up on something that Weiwei said in her talk, which was about the best fit. And so often, students or parents will come to me and say, which is the best university for my son? Or which is the best university in the world for this subject? And the answer is, it depends on the student, it depends on you, which is the most suitable university for you. It's not to do with rankings, it's not to do with a famous name. The best university for you is the one where you're going to thrive, the one that you're going to develop yourself in the best possible way.
很重要的一点呢，就是我们不会，因为后面的名字这些学校大家应该已经很熟悉了，所以我们不会继续去讲。但是最重要的一点呢，就是刚才微微的讲座也有提到，我们在选择大学的时候，并不是考虑哪一个是排名最高的学校，哪一个是最好的学校，而是找最适合自己的这个学校。那么至于哪个学校是最适合你，这个是前提是看于你本身你的兴趣爱好，你的擅长的领域，而不是看排名。
So it's not just about the subject, it's about the campus and the university life. And if you're going to go to a university, you're going to be there for 3 or 4 years or longer. If you're not happy there, if it's not right for you, you're not going to be successful. So it's a very, very personal thing. So I'm not very helpful. When people ask me the best university, I ask them what's the best university. Because it's their decision, it's what suits them best.
我们在选择大学的时候，除了并不是只是基于自己的这种专业的需求，而是基于自己将来的这种大学的生活。哪一个大学是能够让自己过得开心？如果过得不开心的话，那你是很难获得一个成就。所以什么样的大学是适合？这个是在于个人你所喜欢。
But also, a lot of universities have very special strengths. Or they'll specialize in a particular subject. So if you want to be a fashion designer, You don't go to Oxford, you don't go to Harvard, you don't go to MIT. You go to a specialist art university, somewhere like University of the Arts London.
Okay, 如果有一些学校他们是有自己不同的一些特长和专业强项的，如果你想要学时装设计，你并不是最好的学校，也许不是 MIT、哈佛等等，而是比如说像伦敦的艺术学院 UAL 在伦敦，它有可能它才是最适合的。
If you want to be an entrepreneur, again, you probably don't go to Cambridge University. You do a very specialised management and entrepreneur course at Manchester University in the UK. So one of the important things is not just looking at the rankings, but talking to people who can give you the right advice about what's best for you.
同样，如果您想要学的是企业管理的话，那么你可能选择的并不是剑桥，而是其他擅长于管理学院的一些大学，英国的一些大学。
Okay, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the universities are looking for, and really going to highlight the two key differences between two very different education systems, the UK-based system or the US-based system.
接下来我会讲这些大学们他们想要寻求什么样的一些学生，对于英国和美国来说，他们会有一些不同的一个侧重点。
And the big difference between the two, as I'm sure you know, is that if you go to university in the UK or other countries that use the UK system, such as Australia, Canada, Singapore, you don't just apply for university, you apply for the major that you're going to be studying as well. So if you want to be a doctor, you study medicine from day one in a UK system. If you want to be an economist or study economics, you study economics from day one. Whereas if you're applying for the US system, the first year or the first 2 years is much more general. You don't have to choose your major. You don't have to specialize in something until you're absolutely sure what you want to do with your future.
最大的一个区别呢，是英国和美国最大的一个大学课程的一个区别，就是当你发现自己在申请英国方向大学的时候，你会发现一开始你就要选定自己的一个专业。假设你是选取的是医药学，那么你从大学入学第一天开始，你就会选择医药学方面的一个专业。如果是要选经济学，从一开始就要上一些经济学的一些课程。而申请美国方向的大学的话呢，你会发现头1-2年，它的课程都是非常广泛、综合性的，你不需要马上去定自己的专业，直到你自己最后经过1-2年的学习之后，你非常确定自己想要进入什么专业。
So this means that the universities are looking for very different things. If you're a UK university, what you're most interested in, apart from the high academic level, sorry, I'll go back, is evidence of interest in the subject you want to choose. So if you're going to apply for economics, you have to show the university that you have researched what studying economics is going to be like, that you understand the qualities needed in a good economist. And when you apply, they're interested in your reasons for choosing that subject.
所以在当申请英国方向的大学的时候，你就要去展现自己对这个专业的一些兴趣，并且是提供一些证据。比如说，你想要申请经济学方面的一些经济的专业的话，你就要去从你的这些申请材料当中去体现自己对这个专业的一些兴趣的证据。
So the key to an application to a British university is this thing. It's called the personal statement, where you have about 650 words to convince a university professor that you are absolutely fascinated by his subject or her subject.
所以一个很重要的一个元素在英国的申请方面就是一个个人文书。这个个人文书是650字左右，你需要利用这650字的空间去充分的展现自己对于这个专业的一些兴趣，来让招生官去说服招生官，我对这个专业非常的感兴趣。
The other thing that the top British universities, the top UK universities, are really think is really important is they want students who don't just learn things, remember them, and can reproduce them. They're interested in students who can think for themselves, who are independent thinkers and problem solvers. So, alongside the personal statement, there will be entrance tests, thinking skills tests, and interviews where the students will have to be talking about the subject that they want to apply for.
除了这个英国的大学，他们还会看重你的学习的技能。这个学习技能并不是说你能够死记硬背多少，而是说你是否是他们想要找的一个合适的一学生，是否具备独立的学习的能力。所以除了个人文书之外，他们还会有一些专门的一些入学测试，来测试一些思维的能力，还有一些专业的一些测试，还有一些面试。
Whereas the US is very different. Because you're not choosing a major, the universities are much more interested in you and your personal qualities and what you can contribute to the university life, how you're going to fit into the university community. So they're much more interested in what you're going to contribute. And so the key thing about the US applications is you'll write one or more essays which are really about your personal qualities, not about academic things, but about your personal qualities.
而对于美国来说，因为不需要一开始确定专业，所以这些大学们他们需要看的就是你是一个具备什么样的一些个人品质，能够为这个社区带来什么样的一个奉献。那么要体现这些个人品质的话呢，他们会要求要求写1到2封的文书，这个文书里面主要是体现自己的一些个人品质。
And Weiwei talked about building up your personal profile, your learning plans for very, very important for US university applications.
而刚刚提到的一个个人艺术档案或者个人档案，也是一个非常重要的一个美国申请的一个元素。
And then just looking at 3 other popular countries for international students, Australia, Canada and Singapore. Again, they're all interested in the best students. Canada and Singapore, pretty much like the UK, are very interested in why you've chosen that major. Australia is much more based on just your academic level. So again, you know, if you're looking at particular countries, do your research, find out exactly what they're looking for, and make sure that you can then deliver that.
看到其他表上的其他的几个国家，澳洲他们是想要看的是最好的学生，你的学术的水平。新加坡和加拿大的话，和英国有点相像。为什么你们要选这个？为什么要选这个专业？如果想要了解，就要去做一些调查，调查这些你所选择的大学，他们想要什么样的一个学生，个性化的一个调查。
So just to re-emphasize what Weiwei was saying in her presentation about the timeline, in what we call Year 11 in the British system or Grade 10 in the US system or earlier, if you're interested in the US universities, start making contact with them as early as you can. The more personal contact you have with the US universities, the more they'll help you with your application. But if you're looking for a UK-based system, what you really need to be thinking about in grade 10 or year 11 or earlier is, because you're applying for a particular major, your main consideration is going to be choosing the right subjects. If you're doing IB, the IB diploma, making sure you get the right subjects for the university course you're looking for. If you're doing A-level or AP, choosing the right subjects, because that's what the British system will be looking for. Your interest and suitability for a subject, whereas the US universities are going to be looking for your suitability for that university.
我们再重申一下刚刚微微讲座上面讲到的这个时间线，从11年级到12年级的这个时间线，在英国的体制就是12到13年级，那么12英国的话是12到13。对于美国方向的话呢，我们可以尽早的和学校建立联系，因为美国学校最重要的就是你的适合的程度，而对于英国方向来说的话，最重要的就是选择专业，然后去考虑从10年级开始去考虑自己 喜欢哪个专业，所以这个选择科目是非常重要的。比如说，如果你是在 IB 体制上 DP 的，就是毕业文凭的这个课程的选择，6门课程的选择，要给自己的专业是相搭配。A level 的科目选择和 AP level 的 AP 的科目的选择。
And then in year 12 or grade 11, if you're focusing on the US, building up your personal profile. If you're focusing on a UK-based system, all the preparation about researching the subject you want to study. Of course, you can do both. I mean, if you're not sure where you want to apply to, you could be doing both of these throughout year 12 or grade 11.
如果是11年级，刚才是10年级啊，11年级的话呢，就是继续展开自己喜欢科目的一个调查。如果不确定自己国家方向的话，反正也可以，不管是英国还是美国，都可以做一些科目、兴趣科目的一些调查。
Yeah. So, and then in year 13 or grade 12, this is when you apply for your university courses in general. Now, applying for university courses is easy. You fill in a form, you write some things, you send it off. Easy. Applying is not the difficult bit. The important thing is, if you apply, you've got to have done all this preparation, the things in year 12, the things in year 11, because you've got to have things to write about. You know, there's no point in trying to write a personal statement if you're applying for, let's say, chemical engineering, unless you've done lots of research into chemical engineering, unless you've read lots of books, you've done internships and this sort of thing. So, although people think that the application is the important thing, it's not. It's all this preparation before, which is the key to getting the places at the universities.
12年级的话是正式申请的一个时间。那么申请其实并不简单，只是填写一个申请表，然后把所有资料上交就提交。但是最重要的是之前所要做的一些准备，所有的这些准备才是关键的。这样你才知道在申请的时候，你知道自己能够填什么，想要填什么。比如说你的意向专业是化学工程，那么你是否具备一些相应的一些科目的学习、实习的经历？所以最重要的是申请之前的这些准备才是最关键的。
And then there will be a certain, after you've applied, doing a certain amount of preparation for the interviews or tests. And then when you finish year 13, grade 12, normally the following September or October, you start university. Or if it's Australia, the optimum starting date is February. So it looks like a long timeline. It looks like 3 or 4 years of lots of work. But the earlier you start the preparation, the more successful you're going to be.
最后申请完了之后呢，就是专注于自己的一些考试的一些准备，还有相对应的一些面试。那么正式的大学学习一般是次年的9月份或10月份。那么如果是澳洲方向的话，会在后一年的2月份。这个时间线看起来就是很长，大概是4年左右的时间，但实际上越早准备越容易达到成功。
And this all looks nicely planned, and if you're starting at the age of 14 or 15, you can work through this sequence. But what if you haven't done this preparation? What if you've decided to apply to study overseas later on in your school career, or you haven't been at an international school? There are other routes. So there are things called pathway or foundation courses that you can do a year's extra study after year 12 or grade 11. You can do what's called a pathway course, and that will also lead you to university. So it's never too late. And there are very good pathway courses that you can study in Thailand, for instance. Or you can go to the UK or US and do a pathway course. So if you don't fit this profile of being at an international school from grade 10 or younger, it's not too late. There are other routes. There is a flexible way of getting into the top universities without having to have completed, let's say, A-level or IB or APs.
这个时间线看起来呢是非常的完美。如果我们的孩子是从14岁、15岁开始策划的话，但是如果是没有那么早开始，或者是从来没有接触过，首次进入这个国际教育体系，觉得晚了怎么办？还会有其他的一个途径，这个途径就是属于衔接的一个课程。这个衔接的课程，也就是说，因为你的语言或者是学术能力没有达到的话，你可以选择这一个课程，可以选择泰国、英国或者是美国不同国家都有这种衔接的一个课程，可以通过这个衔接的课程去提升自我，来达到进入顶级学校的目的。
And just the final thing I'll say is, I was actually in Chiang Mai 2 weeks ago talking to some students at Prem about preparation for university interviews. And at the end, I summed it up by saying the 3 most important things, if you want to be successful, if you want to get to a top university, the 3 most important things are, number 1, preparation. The more preparation you do, the more successful you're going to be. Number 2 is preparation, and number 3 is preparation. So start early, plan early, get lots of help, lots of advice, talk to as many people as you can, get help, and you will be successful.
Only 2.
3. Preparation, preparation, and preparation.
OK， James 前2周到了清迈，然后和一些学生的这个交流过程当中，他其实已经总结了最重要的3个事情：准备，准备，准备，就是尽早准备，去得到争取更多的一些帮助和支持，尽早的开始行动。
So thank you very much for listening.